a full-page ad in major U.S. newspapers last year criticizing U.S. foreign policy. What would you do differently, Donald?
I'd make our allies, forgetting about the enemies you can't talk to so easily, I'd make our allies pay their fair share. We're a debtor nation. Something's going to happen over the next number of years with this country, because you can't keep going on losing $200 billion, and yet we let Japan come in and dump everything right into our markets and everything. It's not free trade. If you ever go to Japan right now and try to sell something, forget about it, Oprah. Just forget about it. It's almost impossible. They don't have laws against it. They just make it impossible. They come over here, they sell their cars, their VCRs, they knock the hell out of our companies. And hey, I have tremendous respect for the Japanese people. I mean, you can respect somebody that's beating the hell out of you, but they are beating the hell out of this country. Kuwait, they live like kings. The poorest person in Kuwait, they live like kings. And yet they're not paying. We make it possible for them to sell their oil. Why aren't they paying us 25% of what they're making? It's a joke.
That was Donald Trump about 35 years ago. Listening to Donald Trump today has won the presidential bid again for the second time, in spite of all odds. Listen to this. Hold on 1 second.
And now it's going to reach a new level of importance, because we're going to help our country heal.
This 78 years old Donald Trump now.
Needs help, and it needs help very badly. We're going to fix our borders. We're going to fix everything about our country. And we made history for a reason tonight, and the reason is going to be just that. We overcame obstacles that nobody thought possible, and it is now.
All right, so listen to Kamala Harris concede a whole day after losing the battle to Donald Trump. Listen to this.
My heart is fat. So let me say, my heart is full today. My heart is full today, full of gratitude for the trust you have placed in me, full of love for our country, and full of resolve. The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for, not what we voted for, but hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
All right, so that's a whole day after she lost the battle. But I must say, this video has been floating around for the past 24 hours or so, and I thought it was a brand new video, but apparently it's a video that was published about 1 year ago. One of the plans that Donald Trump has. I thought you will find this interesting, so I'm going to play one last clip. Then I want to hear your thoughts about everything, what your analysis has been about the last week or two. Listen carefully.
Body for Teachers. As part of our new credentialing body for teachers, we will promote positive education about the nuclear family, the roles of mothers and fathers, and celebrating rather than erasing the things that make men and women different and unique. I will ask Congress to pass a bill establishing that the only genders recognized by the United States government are male and female, and they are assigned at birth. The bill will also make clear that Title IX prohibits men from participating in women's sports, and we will protect the rights of parents from being forced to allow their minor child to assume a gender which is new and an identity without the parents' consent. The identity will not be new, and it will not be without parental consent. No serious country should be telling its children that they were born with the wrong gender, a concept that was never heard of in all of human history. Nobody's ever heard of this, what's happening today.
All right. Your turn. I want to hear your thoughts.
Let me take it from the last comment. Of course, he is right concerning that. But our point of departure is this. Let me also give you some credit for not being in denial like some of us. You were pointing out certain issues of concern during the campaign. You know, the campaign is over now. everybody is settling down to the business of transition and proper governance. But you were really right in your early call that it looked like black males or a sizable portion of the black population of this country and the Hispanics may turn against Democrats. And I said, well, it will be because maybe the generation that suffered the things our forebears witnessed in this country, maybe they were already forgetting. And do not forget the words of that American sage that said, eternal vigilance is the price that one must pay for liberty. So it's been time, and people got so lethargic, and under their watch, whatever happens to freedom now would only remain something that must become a subject of pragmatic observation. And what I mean about this is that it is going to be a scientific process. It's an uncharted territory. And wherever that goes, we would follow. But how did Donald Trump win? Look at the margin of victory for Democrats and their loss this year. Their margin of victory in 2020, and then the margin of loss this year. Kamala Harris, as at the time the whole thing was called, Wednesday morning, was garnering 60-something million votes, as against 71 million plus for Donald Trump. So you would see that it's not as if Donald Trump had substantial gain over the 70 million plus. Was I talking of thousands or millions? 70 million plus that he had in 2020. Are we following each other? But, Elola? Hello?
I am listening. Sorry, I'm listening. I'm listening attentively.
Yes, but on the contrary, the votes for Democrats or the Democratic Party shrank by a substantial 13 million. Did you see the disparity there?
Yeah.
Donald Trump was able to record a spike of 1 million plus. He was able to hold down his primary constituency and then shipped away bits of votes from the places that were considered deep democratic territories. Right. That's how this was done. So the Democrats took their eyes off the ball. And you cannot talk of total doom for any man, yet you cannot say that any man is good. I mean, this is the way things are. Now, we go back to another important factor that drove the vote and opinion of people. This is one thing nobody has touched on. And as a journalist, I went to town, interacted with people at in unusual places, especially the public marts, the like Walmart, like just think of anywhere that I ran into people. Number one, there was subdued celebration amongst Republicans, in spite of the fact that they got a definitive mandate. But you know what? Amongst African Americans, their anger is in the fact that during the campaigns, not much was said about Kamala Harris' father. It was, yes, and they looked at it as an established pattern of disrespecting black males in America. Not just black males. There were white people too saying that they've been made to pay so much in terms of alimony and child support in this country by women who were virtually lying through their teeth to take undue advantage of the system. Yes, that, during the campaigns, women rolled out the drums, which is, it is nothing bad. You look at major religions of the world, particularly Islam here, compels it on people to honor their mother. You see the kind of honor that is conferred on Mary by Catholics all over the world. You read through the Bible, you saw how Jesus Christ was reluctant to go against the plea of his mother during the marriage that was the first miracle that was recorded in Cana of Galilee. The place of women is secured. But what men have noticed in America, particularly black males, what they are saying is that it's not as if black males are never there for their children. Of course, it's a matter of legacy, a matter of culture, tradition, that the man is the head of the house. But here, consistently, nobody discussed the events that led to the breakdown of the marriage between Kamala Harris' mother and his father. And her father.
And a black, apparently black father.
Black fathers, what they all go through in this country. That is what really drove not just black males, amongst males generally in America. That, they said America is ready for this, but that fathers are literally thrown out of the homes by women who just who are enjoying the narrative that they are always the ones who raise children by themselves, which is not true. A major consideration there. Now, going forward, what does this portend for the country? We never could tell, particularly the appeal to sentiments about fascism, the appeal to other outrightly extreme viewpoints that drove the campaign. And then you see the messages that have been trafficked everywhere. People don't really believe that those messages are exchanging between compatriots, that is fellow Americans, that some people who are not part of us in this country, some alien influences may be the ones sending insidious and incendiary messages, trying to instigate race riots all over the place. For example, people saying, text messages landing on phones saying, have you made a choice of the plantation you want to go to, whether you'll be picking cotton or growing peanuts and all those things, trying to scare people. But of course, I listened to a message yesterday at All Nations Breakthrough Church in Kansas City. Honestly, one of the powerful and compelling messages I've ever had in my life. The preacher was quoting from the second chapter of the book of James, how nobody should embrace partiality, and then that dovetailing to outright denunciation of discrimination, sentiments that would dishonor God, and that people should shun bringing politics into the house of God, and that no party could say they get it right. No leader anywhere will say they have a totally bright programs or whatever for the citizenry of any country at any given time. But that those things should not be brought into the house of God to cause division. Things that were witnessed between Hellenists and Hebrews during the time of the early church, when issues of discrimination in the sharing of stuff to, between widows of some of these gangling blocks within the early church, and that discrimination cannot be right. And that is the message of law.
So discrimination against for specifically what was that insinuating?
Yeah, first people will start about denunciation and demand for deportation of illegal aliens.
Okay.
Not looking at their contribution on the farms and wherever they are giving their best to make sure that they hand a credible pathway to citizenship in this country, and what they contribute in securing the economy. You throw all 11 million of them out, where does that land America? A discrimination issue there. When you take them out again, you want to begin now to talk of, oh, this is white, this is non-white. Even within the non-white minority blocks, you are going to break it down. Is it Nigerian? Is it Kenya? Is it South African? And then within the Nigerians, you will be talking of Igbo, outside this and that. When you break it down to Yoruba, you'll be talking, is it Ekiti? Is it Akoko? Is it Akure? Is it Ijebu? Is it Oyo? Is it this and that? That these things, they never end. Whenever you say you are embracing this, at some point, okay, we are left with a white population or this and that. That again will break down to smaller blocks that would, thin out to family units. Would you still not find those sentiments? This is, discussing the dynamics of discrimination to its barest minimum and how evil it can be. And that this country does not need that.
I want to ask you this question, right?
Yes.
I want us to throw it to the audience to join the conversation.
Right.
Who is to blame? In about 30 seconds, who is to blame for losing that battle to the Republicans over the last week?
The lethargy, the complacency of the Democrats. I told you, compared with the last election, complacency. They took things for granted. Their eyes were off, and they were really hungry. And really, I'm not really happy with people like this senator with his extreme liberal agenda that is already looking for the man with the loud voice, the former presidential candidate.
Who's that? What's his name? Schumer? What's his name?
No, not Schumer. The Democrat, the man with loud voice that is seen as
Bernie Sanders.
Bernie Sanders. He's already apportioning blames. This is why this. Yes, moment of accountability.
Well, I'm automatically going to disagree with Bernie Sanders because everything is all his suggestions never really account for how who's going to pay for it.
Oh yes, maybe we are on the same page on that because really what people were even saying is that pandering to his own leaning within the Democratic Party was part of the reason why the party lost so badly. So when they come out like this, honestly, the woman gave everything she could to the campaigns. And
she did, but for me, when I saw that last video bit that I played about the family unit,
oh yes,
I couldn't
remember.
help but imagine
that issue itself was addressing the personal angst and anger of Elon Musk. Right,
exactly. We mentioned that, right? So I couldn't help but assume.
For example, I ran into a guy who was almost going to label me because of our shows there. He watches us keenly. Yeah, probably is watching us now, white American, and he said, "Oh, you are liberal, this and that." It's almost like pointing Peter out. You remember in the Garden of Caiaphas, the chief priest, when Jesus was on trial. Oh, we saw you. You were also one of those disciples, and Peter was almost going to. No, I said, so if you describe me a liberal, I'm not going to play the game of Peter here. If you describe me a liberal, what does liberal mean? I said, what does it mean to be a liberal person? Yes, I won't be an extremist. And if I see the evil of fanaticism and extremism that is showing out Nigeria, my land of birth, and then you say that is what? No, I am a joyful liberal. And what it means is that I'm not for any extreme agenda. But let me tell you, as somebody of African descent, before you begin to label me, you begin to give me all these like mischaracterizations that you are gladly putting on people. Is it thinkable for me to embrace homosexual agenda? Of course not.
Right.
So where do I agree with your typical? Yes. Well, where do I culturally, traditionally? Where do I agree? Where is the meeting point between me and?
So to be clear for me, it's not about the homosexual. It's about the changing of minors and allowing minors remotely, in any remote possible ways, influencing them with the okaying them that they can just suddenly change their reality.
Yes, that's the total picture of what I was giving to you about the anger of black males and generally males in America. Oh, you shower out the encomiums, the accolades on murders. Where is the relevance of fathers? And these fathers, they pay through the nose to support their families. They are okay. The Ebanga situation in Equatorial Guinea. They are doing everything, but their wife really wants to just fantasize and get so greedy and launch after the strange man out there. Men also behave irresponsibly at times. This is just, but the anger of males generally here now is that Kamala Harris campaign did not do much, did not give much credit to her father.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna give you the floor, sir. After the campaign and the election, and watching that video, a big fear overwhelmed me of what if she had won? How far would they go? Particularly with allowing, extreme progressive, like to what extent?
I do not even know if those things are progressive, really, but
that's what they categorize them as.
Yes, quote and unquote.
I'm talking about they, them, he, him. To what extent were they gonna go with allowing that craziness? I consider those craziness.
Yes, the check that would have naturally come into place. Because we're talking of social evolution here. The check that would naturally come into, that would kick in, would have been personal salvation. This is my truth, and it is irreducible. Nobody can push me around. This is what I stand for. You can go for your own thing that is driving you. Me, I'm not for that.
No, but unfortunately, that encroaches our children and how they educate them in school.
And that is, you see, the crisis is already here, and everybody is tasting of it already. I mean, hardly would your child want to sit down and understand that you are talking as a father or as a mother. And some people are so licentious, they take things for granted that, anything goes with their children. And you see the kind of dysfunctionality that is occurring in several homes, particularly African immigrants' homes in this country. You'll be shocked. And you are wondering that, yes, you say this, somebody is doing this against your block, but are you not, by way of identity, are you not promoting confusion, confused state of mind as progressivism? So these are the things that they can roll back on. But in terms of, you see, in terms of, how do I look at it now? Protection of economic values and what have you.
Right.
I think the Democrats have a way of balancing their acts, making sure that budgets do not run haywire.
You mean they had a way? She spent $1 billion. He spent $250 million on this campaign.
Well, that is what is stated. How about what was spent under the table? That crowd, that conviction did not just come.
No, but we
and
also
then
know that Trump gets free coverage. We've known that
it is,
for
yes, all those things should be
since
quantified.
2016. Well, it's
Yes,
still free.
the-
He
the
managed to figure out how to get it for free.
Yeah, the complicity of the legacy media, the institutional media organizations is there. But like I said, he is the one that's won the prize now. He has the crown. Let us see if he's going to run an imperial presidency or yes.
Lastly, before we run into our last trendy story of the day, right? I heard this from a guy called Patrick Bet-David. He runs a podcast called the PVD Podcast. And he said he spoke to a person. I forgot the person now. He said, we all go through a phase with our fathers. First phase is you idolize him. Second phase, you demonize him. And third phase, you humanize him. Do you see a correlation between how Americans see Donald Trump in that?
Certainly not.
Certainly.
Yeah,
but you see that in your own father, though, right? You see that in your own father.
You say what?
You see that in your own father, my grandfather. You could see that. Idolize, demonize, humanize.
I never seen it. I never. There was no point at which I saw him as a demon, because
it's not about seeing him as a demon. No, that's not the point.
No, you said at some point one could demonize him.
Demonize, but that's different from seeing him as a demon. That's two different things. Context.
It could be in a given way. Well, the truth of the matter is that let me give you a scenario. At the time,
I think you're still demonizing Trump. Is the point here?
You think me or some people?
You and some people are still stuck.
Not me. No, not me. Did you hear me when I said he has the crown now? He has the victory.
So are you humanizing him or idolizing him?
Just wait.
Okay.
He has a mandate. If we all believe in democracy, you give him the opportunity of serving out his term, and then you can rate his legacy. What I'm saying is, if we would see if he's going to run an imperial presidency or a democratic presidency. You know, he is an actor. Give that to him. He's an actor. All those things he said may not really, may not really be his, it may not be his orthodoxy. This is what I'm telling you.
So I think American as a whole, as a general, they voted him because they humanized him.
Not as a general. No, not the generality of Americans. I've told you.
I mean, we have to still respect that they actually voted
majority. Yes, we must contextualize it. Majority of Americans voted in. That's
what I meant. That's what I meant. And so those majority, including all the people you won away from the Democrats, they were in a space where they were like, okay, we don't know this lady. Well, this guy has been convicted 34 times. Let's just vote him in. That's what happened here.
Hear me out. I do not know of any Democrats that converted to a side other than Bob Kennedy Jr. Did you see the statistics I gave?
Yeah, I did.
Almost 13 million Democrats did not vote. Substantially,
for the first time, did he not win the popular vote?
For the first time, yes, he won it. But what we are saying,
a big deal.
Just wait. What we are saying is this: you look at the turnout of Democrats, how Democrats voted the last time. There is a deficit of 13 million between 2020 and 2024. So it's not as if we took Democrats' stuff. The Democrats were complacent. This is the problem.
This was a landslide, okay?
Great.
That's the reality we need to face here, and that's a big deal.
Great. But let us also consider one thing. If if Donald Trump had been crushed this way, do you think he would not raise hell? So I told you
that's one of the things that they actually appreciate about him. They know he's nasty, but they know what they're dealing with. They know the other people are nasty, but they're never really sure what they're dealing with. That's what we're dealing with today.
This is my call on this. Like I predicted, if he won and he has won, I said it will be a referendum on Americans and its values itself.
Okay, we got 4 years to figure that out.
And this is where we are.
That's where we are.
But let us give him a chance. He has a mandate. Let us give him a chance.
All right.
Simple.
Hey, thank you for being a good sport. Please do me a favor, hit the like button, share, subscribe, follow, join the conversation. Let's know what your thoughts are. Please, 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 in the comment section, what do you think the next 4 years is going to do? Are you saying let's give him a chance, or you can see that this is going to be a bunch of tweet war again, especially now that we know that Elon Musk is at the top of affairs at the Twitter X box? Join the conversation. We'd like to know what you think. We'll be right back.